You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKG in Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Are you ready?
Are you ready for the country? Because the country ready for you. Little bit of who we talking about. Come on now on DGG Day. So I ask you if you're ready for the country. The country ready for you. By the way, Watson Brown going to join here in a few minutes. Breaking down scientifically what he sees on film from the great DGG. My name is Tony Basilio, welcoming you to what's going to be a busy day for us. And across the big orange nation, tonight at 5:30, we go live on our coordinates over at tclub.team, TonyBasilio.com, X with Sexy Exy and Cinco. Cinco running double duty today, and we're fired up, focused, and prepared. And can I please see, is it possible to put up the countdown button? Is it possible to put up the countdown button? Celtic Drew, we deserve this. There's nothing more fun when we come all the way back as a one Vol nation. All the hatred we've endured, people calling us necks. So fun. Muletown says, happy DGG Day for those who celebrate. Look, the guy's my favorite running back in the history of the school. I think I'm celebrating today. And how are we celebrating? Well, we're celebrating with Watson Brown. We're celebrating with Sean Sinclair, who's not there yet. So he's celebrating. Cinco's celebrating in his own way, I guess you could say. We're celebrating with Watson Brown breaking it down scientifically. And as you'll notice, we have a countdown clock for those of you that are over on YouTube. And I mean, we've done this thing as well as we can. That, if you look closely enough, it's a chair with a device. And it says we are approximately 0 days, 6 hours, 387 minutes, or 23,237 seconds and counting away from the big reveal tonight, the big reveal. And I just got to tell you, the closer it gets, the more convinced I am that we're going to have a real celebration tonight, 5:30 Eastern time. And it's going to be just a lot of fun. And here's the thing about it. One of the reasons why I decided a few weeks back to go all in on this is, for one thing, I think Tennessee's going to get him. And for another thing, I think when we have situations like this, we need to celebrate them. And if other fan bases think that's silly, that's fine. If you think that's silly, that's fine. If you think it's too much hype for one player, that's fine. But I'm of a mindset that we need to celebrate these sorts of things. We need to enjoy ourselves. It'll be 2026 football season very soon. And all that comes with that, the good, the bad, and the sometimes ugly. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've got to celebrate us. And I said, go Big Orange to you. You know? And I bring in against the backdrop, and one must ask, how is Sean Sinclair feeling on a day where we visit with Watson Brown, followed by James Clausen from Spire on the day, the Eagle, the Canadian Wildfire will land. Sean, we don't get many of these old school recruiting battles, but this one kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. It's it's a couple of years ago, same two clubs in the ring with David Sanders, and we won that one. Last year we won against the same thing with Legend Bay. That went haywire. And so now he's in Columbus, I'm guessing. Good luck to him. But yeah, this is neat. It shows the intent. It's funny how the only people that have a problem with how much recruits are paid are the schools that don't sign that player. I mean, Texas Tech has been doing it. Michigan did it a couple years ago with Bryce Underwood.
Yep.
We started the whole deal off with Nico.
Yep.
Again, it's, hey, even though it's not my money, I'm okay with it being my celebration. That's fine. and I like it. It's recruiting has totally changed. It's not the same, and something like this, and I appreciate you. This is kind of out of character for you to wax hyperbolic about a recruit and go all in. That you and I haven't talked about him. That's the honest truth. And recruiting's never been your thing. And so I'm trusting that good news is coming, because I've never seen you like this, and that's great. That's great.
I just believe that, you got to count your blessings, Cinco. And this whole thing is a real, it is a blessing, and it's fun, and it's a real opportunity for us in the middle of July just to celebrate Tennessee football, or the end of July, or wherever we are right now. But it's a great opportunity for us as a fan base to start to have some expectations as well. And Ryan Callahan, who was on with us yesterday, said, look, on one side of the football, there are going to be 4 top 13 in their class, 5-star football players on one side of the football next season. And if you start thinking about it, and this quarterback shows any facility at all for the ability to get better. I mean, look, we're 6 hours, Cinco, and we're actually 382 minutes, Cinco, away. 6 hours, 22 minutes, and mark the tape, 0 seconds, 6:22 exactly, away from the Eagle landing, Cinco. And you've got to be excited about that. Yep.
It's a coordinator. It's
Yep.
good one year, not so great next year, up and down. But anyway, he went out and got one of the top available. No, that's not even true. One of the top out there. Because even if Knowles was locked into a long contract, he would still be one of the best out there. And then they've gone and set the market for a running back, which he has long shown that he can take very good running backs and make them extremely productive. And so he's going out and getting a 5-star to plug into this offense. So, I'm applauding Josh Heupel, because it doesn't appear that he's just standing pat and, collecting $10 million for 8 and 9 win seasons, and let's just see what happens.
Pretty next level. Yeah, I like Heupel with a little sense of urgency, Heupel with a little bit of edge, Heupel taking a shot at Lane Kiffin this week, which is something he never does. Tennessee showing a real sense of urgency with this guy here and getting him. I texted Watson Brown last night. I said, they're going to set the market for him. He said, Tony. And he's going to join us here momentarily, presented by our friends Simpsons Meats. Watson said, look, when you're going against Ohio State, you have to set the market. Tennessee had no choice. He said, that's just the nature of this. And the truth is, Sean, going back to recruiting back in the day, how were you going to get a guy like this away from an Ohio State and Alabama? One of the powers when you were in the room, the Oklahomas of the world. You had to step in there with the bag man and do what, Sean? Tell the living listener what you had to do. You had to overpay for the guy.
Yeah, over in England, or in Europe, they call it paying over the odds for a player. Mm-hmm. But you know what the thing is? If you don't overpay, you may not get them. And if you don't get them, you're going to play against them. And, you know, Ohio State has been winning those battles, and they've been collecting trophies, and they've been, I'm not here to debate Big Ten versus SEC. That's, you know, conference strength. That's not my interest. But they, with all due respect to us, they have a much higher profile than we do at this moment. And you saw what Bayer players did for Texas Tech. Again, a lesser conference. But, you know, when you're recruiting 8th in the nation and you're 7th in your conference, that tells you got to do something a little different. And I do believe that Heupel is one of the better play callers in the country. I really do believe that. I think he has that in him. I do believe he is one of the better quarterback developers in the country. And you start adding these other pieces around here. Hopefully, you know, and in an expanded potential playoff, that's what it's all about.
It's exactly what it's all about. It's an exciting day. On the other side, we're going to ask Watson, when he looks at the film of the artist known as DGG, David Gabriel Yorgi, when he looks at the video of the man that in 6 hours, 17 minutes, and roughly 15 seconds is going to come to fruition. And we're going to be on live tracking it. Totally pumped. With the Garza Law extra cast for you. Sean will be with me. X will be with me. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. We come back on the other side. Watson Brown joins. I want to know from Watson what he sees in this kid. Look, I'm not going to lie to you, okay? As we hit the air today, all indications, not some indications, all indications. Tennessee's planning for a celebration tonight. And they should. Tennessee jumped in the ring. It's gone toe-to-toe with Ohio State over this one. For a guy that is a coach on Ohio State staff that's had a tie with this kid for 5 years. Now, Ryan Callahan and myself are going to have a difference of opinion. There's some big boys that stayed out of this thing because they didn't want to waste their time. Which, by the way, and Sean will talk about this as well later on, but in the recruiting game, time is money. You spend the wrong time on somebody, you prioritize what you view to be the wrong player or somebody not gettable, and you can get burned. And then you're stuck. Some of the big boys stayed away. Tennessee jumped right in there. Okay, he's playing in our state. He's a Canadian wildfire. He's blown down here out of Nova Scotia. We'll come back on the other side. Tell Watson you'll get back with him, hon. Let's take a break. Come back with more after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
The High Noon line of hard seltzers is always a winner and always next level. High Noon vodka seltzers come in 14 flavors with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. Personally, I'm partial black cherry and pineapple. 14 flavors. That's as many bad takes as I've got in a week. In the mood for a kick? Try High Noon vodka iced tea in 6 refreshing flavors, including peach and lemon, green tea, and half and half. Feeling adventurous? Check out High Noon tequila seltzer in 6 refreshing flavors, including my favorite, Blood Orange. High Noon Real Vodka. Real fruit juice. Live like the sun is always out. Brought to you by High Noon Spirits Company. Must be 21 and over to enjoy responsibly.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want. Smile with confidence. and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
With Gary Sturm. He's with Mortgage Investors Group, making our community a better place every day. Gary, you've been at it 32 years, man.
Yes, Tony, I've been at Mortgage Investors Group for 32 years. We've known each other since, back in the 80s, right?
And we've gotten to know each other recently as our family has gotten involved with another mortgage. Through that whole process, you were a prince, just like Jeker. When he called you at 3 o'clock in the morning after a Tennessee loss, you've been giving your phone number out for a couple decades. And why is that, Gary?
This is the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make. You don't want to trust somebody online, some 800 number. You want to call somebody like myself that's going to give you my number, and you can call me anytime. I'm there to help you. I'm here to help you and your family, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your trust in me. You can call me anytime. You can be like Jeker and call me at 2 a.m. and complain about the Vols just like he did. I'd rather you call me about a mortgage, but that's okay. If you want to cry about the Vols, we can do that too. I'm a Vol at heart. You know that. And if you want to come in and meet with me face-to-face, I'm here. If you want to do it online, I'm here. That's fine. If you're curious if you can qualify to buy a house, people know the housing market's tough. That's what I'm here for. There's no obligation. You can call me anytime. I get you pre-qualified. Or maybe you've got a mortgage and you're thinking about refinancing. Maybe you want to shorten the term. Maybe you want to go to a 15-year. Who knows? But again, that's what I'm here for. It's what I've been here for 32 years. My number is 865-660-2648. It's 865-660-2648.
Gary Sturm at Mortgage Investors Group, going to take great care of you.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, get 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair when you schedule service with Pipe Wrench Home Services. Our licensed technicians are equipped to diagnose the issue, explain your options, and get the repair done right the first time. Don't let a small problem turn into a major headache. That strange noise from your air conditioner, the water heater that's not keeping up, or the drain that keeps backing up won't fix itself. The longer you wait, the bigger the problem can become. At Pipe Wrench Home Services, we make repairs simple with friendly technicians and fast, reliable service that you can count on. We'll arrive ready to identify the problem and get your home back to normal as quickly as possible. Take advantage of 15% off any HVAC or plumbing repair and schedule your appointment today at pipewrench.com. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. Restrictions may apply. Eligible for repairs up to $5,000. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
I'm bowing my head right now. The great Watson Brown now joins. Hey, Watson, don't let this go to your head, but I missed you last week, man.
I missed you too, buddy. I did.
No, I mean,
did. And I had a blast. I was down there getting to see my granddaughter, so you can imagine how much fun that was.
Buddy, there's nothing better than that. But I really missed you, Watson. Today is
it's football time in Tennessee, isn't it?
We're celebrating a recruit today.
Time in Tennessee.
Yes, it is. As Watson Brown joins, and we're fired up, focused, and prepared today for him. We are totally pumped. Watson, I sent you some video to look at last night of the artist they call DGG. Now, I got to tell you a few things about him, okay? First of all, he's originally from Canada. Secondly, he's got a relationship with the running backs coach at Ohio State that dates back to when he was in 7th grade. So about a 5-year relationship with somebody. Thirdly, he's 18 years old. Fourthly, he comes from wonderful family who are a cut above, so to speak. So you're not dealing with the rigmarole. Thirdly, he works really hard, if that isn't fourthly. Fifthly, he's been a no-nonsense kid during their recruitment and dealing with him. Anybody involved with him would call this kid a class kid, just a first-class kid. And so when I put all that together in a package and say, okay, you've looked at his video, tell me about what you see from him on the football field as it relates to Josh Heupel's scheme and then the Southeastern Conference and the rigors and playing in the SEC.
Well, I've seen him quite a bit. So honestly, I didn't even look at what you sent because I've seen this kid, and he's legit. I mean, it's all there. But for me, Tony, what I see is what Tennessee's been playing with in the backfield and probably in the last 3 backs they've had. Their backs have to be physical. They have because he fits them to a T. And if he's all the things you're saying that I hadn't seen or heard, if he's that kind of kid, man, this is a gold mine. And yes, he's physical enough to play in the SEC. There's no doubt in my mind. He can run any kind of running play. He can outrun you. He can dodge you in space, and he can dang sure lower his shoulder, get 3 more after contact, and get up and do it again. So I don't really see any weakness at all. I think I don't care how much money you spend. I think it's well worth it.
Hey, Watson, that's the theme here, right? We were just kind of talking out loud yesterday. There'll be 4 or 5-star kids on Tennessee's roster next year that were like top 14 or 15 players in their class, which is pretty incredible. And we had a discussion yesterday. You know, you have a blindside tackle on offense, the Sanders kid. You have a great wide receiver that Tennessee beat LSU for last year. You have this kid, and then you have a quarterback. Now, obviously, if you rank the importance of positions, you would put the quarterback 1, because this year the quarterback's got to show, if he gets on the field, that he can play, or whomever the quarterback is. But that's an important piece of this thing. But that running back in Heupel's offense, the thing that really kind of excites me about this kid, and just thinking about it, is it's one thing to get these guys, and everybody gets great yards in Heupel's offense. You and I have talked about it down through the years about the misconception of the offense is that it's a passing offense. It's actually an offense built for spreading the ball out, spreading the defensive out, and running the football. But when you have a guy like this that can finish runs, because I was talking to Kelly Holcomb about this yesterday with George Plaster, and Kelly was like, yeah, that's right. That whole offense is schemed to get you into the second level. When you get a beast like this, who, if he pans out, you're talking about a guy that can take the ball on any carry to the end zone because he's going to have the ability to run over guys at the point of attack. That's what's different about this guy to me versus other guys that we've seen here. And that is what separates those special guys, Watson. Yes or no?
Yeah. What separates the special ones is they can do more than just the normal back. They can beat you in space. They can run over you. They can catch the ball. They can pass protect. I don't see anything he can't do. I don't see anything he can't do. And you don't. The last thing you have to do in Tennessee's offense is catch the ball, and you do have to do that with different type of plays, short things or screens or whatever.
Sure.
But he has to be a pass protector. He has to be a grinder. You have to be, because the Tennessee offense is totally built off of what are you going to give me. It's not run first. It's not pass first. It might be run first in game one, and it might be pass first in game two. It's whatever you're going to try to do to you, you have to be able to do the opposite. That's the way it's built, 100% the way it's built. They don't force anything very often. Very few plays you'll watch them in their offense, they have to force something. Anytime they have to force something, Tony, it's on third and long. They might have to force something, and even then I see him having to run a lot of draws and screens. He don't take a lot of chances in third and long. And then in running out clocks or something like that, or on the goal line, you might have to force something. That's it. The rest of the time, it's off of numbers, totally off of numbers. So when they tell you to run, you better have a good offensive line, and you better have a guy back there that can run, because they may make him run it 35, 40 times in a game, and then he might get 15 carries in the next one. So he is built for all of that, in my opinion. It is such an underrated position in the Tennessee offense. They don't just go find a high tailback. They've got to find a guy that can do all of that stuff we just talked about.
Sean Sinclair, on the day that the Eagle will land, DGG Day, down at the Baylor School in Chattanooga, where the press conference is, where all signs, not some signs, not a few signs, not a couple signs, all signs point to Tennessee beating Ohio State. As Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats, online simpsonsmeats.com. Since 1888, you will taste the difference. Watson, I trust that you got your latest shipment of Simpsons Meats in.
Oh, buddy, I did.
Boom!
And that's the one thing we were talking about driving home. I said, it's going to be good to get home. We get one of those new steaks we just got in. So, yes, we got it.
Sean Sinclair, jump in here. By the way, they'll ship premium meat anywhere in the world, including to a couple of my family members in Pennsylvania, who I now, when I walk around them, I now hold check with them, as the old saying goes. Cinco, jump in here.
What would you like me to add, Tone?
Whatever you got, whatever's on your mind, brother, you got it.
Well, Coach, I wanted to ask you that with this running, not style, but with this running production that Josh Heupel gets with his offense pretty much wherever he is, I've always wondered what would happen, because we've had nice backs. I like the Bishop kid, 1,000-yard runner. He was a walk-on. There's no disrespect intended there. Right before him, we had the Offensive Player of the Year, and he's on the roster with the Browns, I believe, but he's not a headliner. So the point being that he takes good players and makes them extremely productive as running backs. I've always wondered what would happen if you put an exceptional running back in the same offense, and is the change in production going to be significant? Or have we topped out what this offense can do from the running game? I suspect that instead of moving the chains, we'll see a lot more longer runs, a lot less shoestring tackles, a lot more holes hit, et cetera. But I'd prefer your interpretation.
What I think will happen, Sean, is I think he'll go to more power type sets to be able to just run the ball and not care. I think you'll see a little more of that as time goes on, and he'll use it in games here and there. And when things aren't going as well, let's line up, knock them down, and give him the ball. They may be sitting at half and somebody has crowded them and they're not getting the ball in his hands as much as they like and they're throwing it more. He'll come in at the half, say, let's line up in this set and this set here, these 3 sets, and give him the ball more. That's what I think you'll see. Anytime as an offensive guy, as I've been all my life, anytime you've got a great player, you spend a lot of time on how are we going to get him the ball. I don't care if it's a receiver. I don't care. The only one you don't have to do that with is a quarterback. But any other position, I had a great tight end at Vanderbilt, and he caught a bunch of balls. You find ways to get them the ball. And that's what I think Josh that's where I think we'll see a difference in time when this kid gets here and he gets rolling.
And that's the point. People think, Sean, you're diminishing Sampson, who is a player of the year in the league. I mean, you can't diminish him. I'm not diminishing him, but this guy gives Tennessee the wherewithal to do what Watson Brown's talking about. Look, you see the 2 deep safety look, and they take the deep pass away from you. Now I've got a counter to it. That's kind of the idea here, I think, behind getting this guy, Watson. Besides the fact that he's in state, besides the optics, I think they saw him and they said, you know what? Let's jump at this. We have an opportunity to do some things with our offense that we haven't done before, if he pans out. Now that's and that's a big if, Watson. We all have to say that.
I don't think there's an if in ability and effort and all that. I think the if is injury. That's the big if.
That's right.
And that is the number one injured position on the offensive side of the football. It is your running back. Your solid running back is going to carry it 15 to 20 times a game. So what I think we'll also see is when that safety's sitting about 8 yards deep on the weak side and a double safety look, and he's right in that, I can defend, but I can step up and make the play if the run breaks the line of scrimmage. I think they'll go and hand it off into that a lot more. You'll run that run pass option and see that safety come up and then throw it in behind him. I think they'll go ahead and teach the quarterback when he gets here. That guy's sitting at 8. I don't care if he comes up, he'll dodge him. He'll run over him. Let's just hand the ball off and get him there. So I think we'll see a little bit more of that too.
Because people compare, I don't like comps because I don't know. We're all different, but people like comps and they say, well, he got a little bit of Adrian Peterson, got a little bit of this guy, got a little bit of that guy, got a little bit of Derrick Henry. He's kind of sort of a bigger guy, I guess. But here's the thing, Watson. The thing that any of those elite guys have is they give you the wherewithal to call plays like that because you have faith in them as a play caller that they're going to be able to beat that man at this level in this league. And those guys are few and far between that you could do that to, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the simplest of terms, that's basically what it is you're going to give him the ball into some looks more than you have other ones you've had because you simply know if he gets there, you're going to beat this guy. I mean, I've had receivers, Tony, where if they got one-on-one and it was a run pass situation, it wasn't a 3rd and 1 or something like that. I always tell my quarterback, if he's out there one-on-one, throw him the ball because he's going to win every one-on-one battle that there is. And now if there's one over the top of him or something, that's a different story. But that's the same kind of thought process is if you've got a great back. I've never had just great backs. I've had some really good ones, but I've never had one of these guys. So I'm talking a little bit out of pocket here because I've just never had one, but I've had some good ones. And I know even with the good ones, how I've let them go and let them have it some into certain situations. We had a big old back at Texas Tech when I was quarterback coach with Rex Dockery in 1977, 77, 78. And his name was James Hadnot. You can look it up. He's huge. He's 6'3", about 260, 255, something like that. Maybe that's a little big, probably 245, 250. And we were running, we were in split back veer, and I'm saying this to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. We were in split back veer, and Rex said, look, they're in a shade look, and they've got the guard and tackle on the weak side covered, and a linebacker sitting behind them. Rex said, let's block the guard and tackle there and let the linebacker go. He'll run over him. I'll be dadgum if through the year, I'll bet you he ran over him more times than he didn't. And we didn't block him. We just let him go. And so that's a little bit on the extreme side, but that's exactly what we're talking about here.
The great Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats. We talk about the potential impact of what it would mean for Tennessee to land David Gabriel Georges today. And, it's such a special circumstance that he ends up in your state. It's such a special circumstance to start a fast relationship with him. And Watson, yeah, go ahead, Sink. Jump in.
Well, I don't think people were listening to me. You said that someone said that I'm diminishing. The point I was trying to make, maybe unsuccessfully, was that this offense puts good running backs into becoming very productive. So I went back and just checked while you were talking to Coach. So the last three rushing leaders that Tennessee has had last 3 years, Jalen Wright was a 4-star running back. He was the 373rd player in the country and was ranked the 26th running back in the country that year.
Yep.
Dylan Sampson was similarly a 4-star running back, rated 393 and the 31st ranked running back in his high school class. Dylan Sampson, Deshaun Bishop was a 3-star, ranked 1,322 player in the country and the 92nd running back in his high school class. I'm not sure how I'm diminishing anybody. I'm saying that this system elevates good players into becoming very productive players that get chances in the NFL. When you start taking the top 10 player in the country, arguably 1 or 2, that's a huge delta between those 3 players that I just talked about and this young man that's committing today. There's no diminishing there. It's highlighting the system.
Yep. And that's exactly right. And Watson, the thing Sean talks about, and the thing that I'll be really curious to see here is, look, better players make better coaches. That's always been the case. You and I both know that. I mean, you laugh at that. It's the truth. I mean, look, you want to win games. You want to win games in any sport. How about you get better players? It's great. I mean, it is good to have a scheme, but what's going to be interesting here is, because I know you think a lot of hype on his ability and his aptitude and, these concepts that he's brought to college football and these things that he's done, and which builds off the work of people like you, who's an offensive innovator and not afraid to try different things when you had these opportunities that he has right now. And so, and you've told me that on the air, off the air, that you think this guy is extremely bright. It seems to me, you helped me out here. You had the headset on in the league for a long time, the big headset. But the difference between winning and losing these games, it feels like each game, it's 4 or 5 plays. When you take a guy like this at running back, and it kind of dovetails with what Sean was saying, when you take a guy that's a great, great talent at that position, and you put him in the spot, you give him the ball on 4th and short, 3rd and short, when you have a guy like this that can win on those plays, it seems to me you got a better chance of coming out on top more times than not. And that feels like a big deal, like winning those 4 or 5 plays, Watson. Is that being overly simplistic, or is that kind of what we're dealing with here, and why he's worth overpaying for at this point in time for Tennessee?
No, I think you're dead right. But to me, where it makes it easier, you have a mindset change when you get one of these. You get a mindset change. Your offense is built on what they give you. It always was with me, and that's why I love Josh's stuff, because it's so very similar to the thoughts I've always had. Is I don't want to ever hand the ball off or throw a ball when I got no chance when I'm letting the ball go or handing it off. I never want to put my players, as a coach, I never wanted to put my players in that spot. I wanted us to have a chance to gain yards in it and be a nothing burger when I hand the ball off. Well, this is the first time where he's always had the same philosophy. And but now I think he's going to get in some sets and he's going to say, I don't care if you've got an extra guy there. His mindset's going to be more as time goes on with this kid. If he sees he's what he's going to be, and you got to see that when he comes in. But it's going to be more, how can I get him the ball instead of just making sure I'm in the proper play. There will be a little bit of a change in mindset. But anytime you get late in the game or it's a critical play in the third quarter or whatever, what's the first thing you think of as a coach? Get the ball to the best player I got. Get him the ball. Let him be the one. If we don't make this, if that's okay, we gave it to the best guy we got. Now, you can't just force it to the point that you hand him the ball and he has no chance. But you understand what I'm saying. I think there will be a little bit of a mindset change as this goes on. And these defenses have struggled overall. There's been some that shut them down some, but overall these defenses have struggled against Josh's offense because he just absolutely don't get a bad play very often, but because he's running into the right numbers, he's throwing into the right numbers. When Josh gets in trouble, Tony, to me, it's when he gets behind the chains. They're not near as good. They're not near as good as a lot of offenses when it's third and long or second and long. They have to not make that mistake and stay within the chains. I don't think they work on that stuff near as much. They work on staying in with those chains and run it when we see this and pass it when we see this and work like the Dickens on seeing that look and hand it off and hand it off and hand it off and hand it off. And you're going to out-execute them when the day comes on Saturday. That's what he does. And so, but I think you'll see a little change if this kid is what he's supposed to be. And I absolutely think he will be.
How would a player like this help, Watson, if you get behind the chains? In other words, you get in a 2nd and 10, maybe even a 2nd and 15, because every once in a while we have a false start with this offense. It's not the cleanest thing in the world.
The way that's going to work is he's not going to be coming out of the game. Like we watch Derrick Henry, they get in third and long and they take him out, and it drives me crazy. Leave him in there and let him spread out and hand him the ball. I mean, I don't understand that, but this kid will not have to come out of the game. And so the third and long is going to be a little different when it gets to that point, because they still got to think, we don't want them handing it off into the box with a very soft box with this kid on 3rd and 8. So they're going to have to think about what they call on 3rd down more, in my opinion, when you've got a player like that.
This is unbelievably exciting. I want to pivot for 1 second here. It's DGG Day, and the SEC media meetings are going on, and God, those things are horrendous. The longer time goes on, these guys are, as you know, Watson, they're just so coached not to say anything. I do want to ask you about a couple of flashpoints that have come out of the meeting so far. One is Greg Sankey is blustering about the possibility that the SEC doesn't get their way in this or get some favorable terms in terms of the new playoff situation, that they might just jump out and go do their own thing. Watson, why would anybody affiliated with the league make a statement like that? That makes zero sense. That's silly.
Honestly, I'll defend it. I'll defend it in this way. What I think he's doing is he's making a power play. He don't want to lose out in this deal because he don't think what's going down here is the best thing. So is he supposed to just sit there and say nothing and just accept it? This is his way of making a power play. And it doesn't mean he's going to do it, but he's getting everybody's attention that he's not far what's fixing to go down. And he's very concerned about it. So I would have done the same thing. Isn't that amazing I'd say that? I would have done the exact same thing. Saying that doesn't mean, Tony, in the long haul, you're just playing your cards. You're leaving them on the table, and is somebody going to take them on or they're not? And when you're the top dog, and there's two top dogs, the Big Ten and him. If those two ever get together on thought processes, look out. We're on our way. We're on our way. So far, they haven't. So we kind of sit here, still installed, and watching everything and see where it's headed. But if those two ever come together and get together on their thought processes, we're on our way to the NFL format, 100%.
The great Watson Brown. The other thing they said, which I think is funny, that's come out of this, is the reporting is that with this latest maneuvering with the federal government, they want these leagues to give them a guarantee that their expansion will stop at 19 teams. They want to create a world where the other leagues, power leagues, can exist in the next long term, not short term, but long term. Do you think, Watson, that the big, whatever they are, they still call themselves Big Ten, which is embarrassing, and the Southeastern Conference, which is now the Southeastern Western Conference, do you think these two leagues would agree to stop at 19 teams? Do you think they're going to get these leagues to agree to that?
No, they're too strong. Tony, they got the two TV packages. We're very close to the NFL right now. Think about it. What's the NFL? CBS and Fox, right?
Yep.
And a little bit of NBC on Monday night or Sunday night.
ESPN.
But it's basically
that's
CBS
right.
and CBS and Fox. Well, what are the Big Ten and the SEC? ESPN and Fox. And so they got the packages. So they're going to win out in the long run. I just think these other leagues will end up having to join them. I'm not talking about tomorrow. I may be gone by the time this happens at 76 years old. But right. I just can't see it not reaching that point unless some other NBC or somebody, now they do Notre Dame, but if somebody else doesn't jump up and throw a big number on the ACC or the Big 12, whatever, I just don't see it happening. And I just think in time, over time, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, it's all going to come together and be two leagues with two major stations carrying the games.
The great Watson Brown breaking it down scientifically. The third item up for bid here on The Price is Right is Josh Heupel actually was asked a question about Lane Kiffin the other day, and Kiffin's reappearance in Neyland Stadium. One of these flashpoint deals, you know. One of those games that your fan base would hate to see you lose. But Heupel said, Heupel said, bring your mustard bottles, stock up on the golf balls. Now, obviously, he's being facetious, but here's the thing he's not being. He wasn't smiling or laughing when he said it. I get the sense, Watson, from poking around with people close to Heupel, he's not real fond of Kiffin's approach, which is the spotlight is always going to be on me. This is going to be all about me. It's a completely different way than how Josh Heupel goes about his business. I don't think there's a lot of love lost there. They fight over players, etc. Do you think Kiffin rubs some of these coaches, Watson, the wrong way? And do you think that's a fair read on the Heupel-Kiffin dynamic?
Does he rub people wrong? Absolutely. There is no doubt. There is no doubt he rubs them wrong. But Josh Heupel is being very smart. One thing you do when you go to school as the new head coach, you better learn the big ones, and you don't want to lose those. You better learn them, and you better know who they are. And he knows dadgum well. He does not need to let that bunch come into Neyland Stadium and lose that game. So he's taking it very serious, just like he does Alabama. Just like he takes them all serious. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from here.
Yes. Yes.
You better know those games. I watched Tommy Tuberville at Auburn. I was at UAB through all of this. And I watched Tommy Tuberville. and he's beating Alabama, and he's beating Alabama. And Alabama's firing coaches right and left everywhere. And that didn't help me a lick. Alabama not doing well and us doing well, and that just didn't go over real well. Then all of a sudden, Tommy Tuberville starts losing to Alabama. He don't last long. He's gone. Now, he had beat them 4 or 5 times. But, yeah, when he started losing, you cannot lose certain games and hang around. And I think Josh Heupel knows dadgum well. I do not need to lose to Lane Kiffin at LSU.
Hey, Sean Sinclair, what do you make of that? The whole dynamic. Heupel never says anything remotely like what he said the other day. And he was not ha 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 after he said it. It was kind of like, I'm sort of sick of this guy. I'm sort of sick of all this. What do you make of it, Sean?
Maybe a little differently than you. I do think that the few interviews that I've seen, Josh Heupel, he seems to have a pretty good sense of humor, and he seems to be quick-witted. He doesn't show that much. He seems more robotic in press conferences. But I do think he has a sense of humor, and a lot of kids talk well about him, being personable, etc. I don't know. I don't think he was trying to jab. I think it was just being funny and being natural, and maybe a little bit more relaxed than he is with a microphone in front of him.
Watson, who do you think the media in 2 days, who do you think the media picks to win the league?
Who? Oh, I'm going to say Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, one of those 3. That's who I think.
Who would you pick, Watson?
It would be hard for me to just go against Georgia. They got an experienced quarterback, and they've got really good players. It'd just still be hard for me to go against those guys. I do think Oklahoma, if their quarterback stays healthy and plays a little better, he's play a little better too. He was too inconsistent to me. Too inconsistent, but he's capable. He's very capable. And Texas is loaded. They are absolutely loaded. But does Arch Manning take the next step? That's my big question. He's got to show that to me. He did at the end of the year. He got a lot better. But I think there's another step to win a championship that he's got to take, to win a SEC national championship. He's got to play a little bit better still than he's played to me. So I can't wait to watch all of it. But there's a whole bunch of teams that could be there instead of those 3. I mean, there are some talented football teams in the SEC this year now. We're going to have some great football games when this gets started.
I agree with that.
There is every week, guys. Every week,
yes,
there are going to be great SEC football games to watch, and I it's about here. I can't wait.
And the top of the league, Watson, those 3 teams that you mentioned, or maybe the top 2, the Georgia, the Texas, every week they take the field, for the most part, they're going to be in dogfights and losable football games. For instance, when Texas comes to Neyland Stadium, it'll be 2 weeks after they've just faced Ohio State. I had David Eckert on, who covers Texas and does a really great job. We were talking about how important it is for Arch to look the part, against Ohio State. Last year, they kicked the stool out from under Arch, and I don't know that he recovered. I don't know that they recovered. They lost confidence. Their offensive line wasn't great to begin with, and it just kind of slipped on them. And it is utterly, absolutely imperative that they play well offensively in that game. And here's the thing. They've got an offensive line with all newcomers, essentially. I mean, they've got a rebuilt offensive line. That is a tough sport early in the season, Watson. And at Texas, if they're not careful, could pick up a loss or maybe 2 early in the year. And you and I both know from you having coached in that state at a few places and your brother being there, that is a tough spot to be in with that fan base. Those people are beyond demanding. I mean, they're kind of crazy, Watson.
Hey, I agree. But I also say, name me on those top 8 in the SEC that every fan base ain't that way. You go out in today's world and you lose 2 games out of the first 4, every one of these fan bases are going to be on edge, buddy. And that's going to be the difference. I don't think there's any way in the world, if Texas knew we were going to be playing 9 SEC games, they would have scheduled Ohio State. They can make any statement they want. I'll believe it wouldn't put me in the grave. They would not do that again right now. But the game's there. They got more pride. They lost. They're not going to do away with the game. Way too much money involved in the game. But, hey, Tony, anybody, I don't care if it's Ole Miss. I don't care if it's Alabama. I don't care if it's Tennessee. I don't care if it's LSU. You go out and you start 2-2 after 4 games, your fan bases are going to be on edge, period.
Might be time to call Gufon moving and storage at that point. Hey, Watson, you
suck your belt up and start winning games. That's better. You better not run from it. You better take it on. Think you can end up 10-2 or something.
I'll tell you this right now. You absolutely have hammered it today. Now that Simpsons meat, you are full of iron today, my friend. You have brought it to the table today. Is there anything else you'd care to add here on DGG Day on the way out? Because you've given us so much meat on the bone to play with on the other side.
It's always an honor, and I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back with you, and I'll say it when I started the day. It's football time in Tennessee, baby. Let's go.
Go! Football. Watson, I love you. Thank you.
Love you guys. See ya.
It is DGG Day. We let the poppers pop. We let the breakers break. It's unbelievable right now how fired up, focused, and prepared we are. Can I get the clock back up as I remind you that Watson Brown is presented by our friends at Simpsons Meats? For those of you watching along on YouTube, lovely Laura has she has configured something here. She's gone above and beyond. She worked long and hard on this, trying to figure out a way to put a clock up. And then we got to get the graphic down. And this is a family affair. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Okay, in hour 2.5 hours, James Clausen is going to join from Tennessee's collective Spire. And we're going to talk with James Clausen about how Tennessee on the front end got the jump on everybody. And Tennessee got the jump on everybody. And I want to talk with him about, it's hard to believe, but it is hard for me to comprehend this. By the way, 5 hours, 30 minutes, and 41 seconds. And the Eagle is going to land in the scenic city. But James Clausen today will be, I think, really interesting. One thing we're not going to do with him is get into this DGG thing. Why? And I told James this. I want this kid to have his moment. And I'm not here to play gotcha. I'm here to celebrate with James what those guys have done in a short amount of time. They got in the middle of it. They did a great job. And we're going to talk with James Clausen and break it down scientifically with him. As Bino answered the bell, I might have to ask Cinco, in his lifetime, best Tennessee running backs, and then his favorite Tennessee backs. I will say for the record, to anybody listening to me right now, I love you guys. I know a lot of former players listen to the show as you listen. I respect the hell out of anybody that puts on a football uniform. I appreciate it. Bino shouted out the great Tony Thompson the other day, which I think is just terrific. Shouted him out today in the blog. My number one Tennessee running back He gonna make it official. 5 hours and 28 minutes and 51 seconds. We come back, we'll get Cinco in here. I want to talk about some of the things Watson said. And then we visit with James Clausen, co-founder of Spire, UT's top collective. He joins today in about 30. In the meantime, brief timeout, our do after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Tona B, inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie, they underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance. TB with a few serious questions. You feeling tired? Foggy, you gaining weight, or you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Hormone therapy is finally becoming mainstream, but it's truly something my man, Dr. Tom Rogers, has been doing for over 20 years. Dr. Rogers at Performance Medicine wants you to feel your best, and he treats both males and females. So guys, we can do this as a family. At Performance Medicine, hormone therapy is personalized to you. If you're dealing with hot flashes or mood swings or low energy, decreased libido, fatigue, muscle loss, stubborn weight gain, it might be time to find out what your body really needs. No shame in this game. You can do something about all the above. Performance Medicine offers customized hormone treatment plans based on comprehensive lab testing with options like pellets, creams, patches, oral medications, and injections. The goal is simple. Help you feel like yourself again. Next level. Make your life better. Take it to the higher plane. Visit performancemedicine.net. Schedule your consultation today. You'll feel your best with Performance Medicine.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw, available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Only 3 homestands remaining for your Knoxville Smokies. Some of the best promotions are still to come. Join us next week for a jam-packed week with all-you-can-eat Wednesday, Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. On Friday, let's continue the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. Saturday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. And Sunday Fun Day to end out the week. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Nothing makes you realize how much you rely on your air conditioner like a scorching hot day in East Tennessee. You want more than a technician. You want someone you can trust. Schedule Pipe Wrench's $79 AC tune-up now because the heat is here. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 AC tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexio Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexio builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexio.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexio, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud ball fans.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. I got caught trying to figure a song out during the break, which I'm pretty pumped today. When I get pumped, I kind of pick my guitar up and sort of play during breaks, and that's kind of where we're at today. We're like 5.5 hours away from our special coverage tonight. Cinco will be with me, as will the X-Man, who are both excited about the moment. Cinco, your thoughts on where we are before I get into a couple other topics with you, and your thoughts on what this is going to mean for this program, because it's going to feel like Tennessee is going to be seen in a little bit of a different light when they add this guy. And now the next piece is the quarterback piece, which is pretty huge, obviously. But yet, this is fun, man, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you take a look at it a little bit differently, tonight's signing day, with the changes in the year of signing, going from our first week in February to then it was late in the year and they had 2, and then it's December, I think, or whatever. And then you throw in NIL, and now the change in strategy for recruiting, where less and less emphasis this year perhaps on high school kids, but going after the bell cow. I think tonight could be a signing day celebration, because I think when official signing day comes, I don't think we're going to be all that happy in the traditional sense, because it's not that loaded like it's going to be, and I think that's on purpose, because they're going to hit the portal. So I think it's great, and then you said quarterbacks, Nick, Derek Baker, I think they already have a commitment from. Just a fantastic player, underrated in my opinion. I know everyone says that when they sign with you and not someone else, but he goes out to the all these camps, Elite 11, et cetera, and just showed extremely well. Big bruising kid from Georgia, and then got a Georgia offer and just declined it. So I think we're doing very well. You had mentioned also the favorite running backs and best running backs. If we could talk about that real quick.
Please.
I started here in 1985, and at that time it was Keith Davis from, I think, Overton maybe in Nashville, and
wow.
We had William Howard from Lima, Ohio, big guys. And then, through the years, check out some of these names. You had Montero Hardesty, John Kelly, Cedric Houston, Gerald Riggs Jr., Marlon Lane, Travis Henry, Dylan Sampson, Jamal Lewis, Arian Foster, Little Man Stewart, Aaron Hayden, Alvin Kamara, Charlie Garner, Jay Graham. Even recently, the guys I mentioned before, the young man, Jalen Wright, Deshaun Bishop. We've had some just fantastic. It's hard to imagine that Tennessee doesn't have a Heisman Trophy when going back to John Majors with Peyton, et cetera, with that kind of lineup. So great running backs are not a stranger here, or is not such an uncommon thing here. We've had our share. Now, my favorite one, the best ones I've seen since '85, I always said it was Chuck Webb, but I've had a change of heart now. I put him in a tie. I'm gonna give Jamal Lewis his thing. I think I'm going to put them 1A and 1A. I think they're both the best I've seen, because I do believe if they hadn't been hurt, each one of them would have likely had a great chance of possibly won the Heisman Trophy that year. But my favorite running back in that time will be surprising. In 1990, you'll remember that Chuck Webb was everybody's darling, and in a cutback horse tackle against Pacific, he had his knee shredded, and all of our hopes looked like they were going out the window. And up stepped little 5'7", 5'8", 185 pounds from Florida, Tony Thompson, with the unbelievable smile and a giggle laugh that was infectious. Arguably the strongest pound-for-pound football player I ever saw at Tennessee. Walked in and immediately shattered the pull-up record. He was a state champion weightlifter, powerlifter for his weight class in Florida. And oddly enough, when we went to check on him one time, he was sleeping outside the old Gibbs Hall because he didn't like air conditioning. Sleeping out in the out on.
Do what? Say it again. Do what, Sean? That's a great story.
Yeah. I don't know if he was Lake Worth or somewhere down in Florida, but he couldn't get used to at that time. We walk up to check on him, and he's laying down with a pillow on the. It used to be, the old Gibbs used to be like an old motel, where the entrance doors were on the outside, and so the walkway was on the outside, not from inside. Like Hess Hall, you had an interior hall going into an interior entry door. These were exterior. And walk up, and he's laying down. Man, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to sleep. I can't stay in the air conditioning. I'm used to being out here like that. But anyway, make a long story longer. Tony Thompson took over the starting running back duties after our hearts were shattered with Chuck Webb. And not only that, went on to be the SEC leading rusher that year with 1,261 yards and 16 touchdowns. Went on to earn his engineering degree from UT, and is just one of my all-time favorites. So my favorite running back since 1985, not best, but favorite, was Tony Thompson.
Bino had him very high on his list for a similar reason. Obviously, you knew him. You were inside the program then. Man, when you have a guy like Chuck Webb, who's just when you hear Majors, late great Johnny Majors, talk about Webb, and you hear him talk about his just incredible vision and his ability and all those things, man, that had to be just an absolute downer of a time when a guy like that gets hurt, because truly that season he stays healthy. There's little doubt the Vols are probably meeting at the end of that year, probably going to see Colorado again for the national championship. That's probably how that thing was going to work out.
Probably, and I told this story before, but as a manager, he's part of my job, and a couple other guys would have to kind of hold cards or whatever you want to say it for the scout team. And believe it or not, he and Carl Pickens were being redshirted. Believe it or not. And they were on the scout team. And I watched practice after practice. And it wasn't full contact. But I watched Carl Pickens and Chuck Webb make the starting defense look silly. Practice after practice. And almost laugh about it. And that's when I said, good Lord, they can't stop. Our starting defense can't stop these two. And sure enough, they went on to be great. And I think Carl got a bad ride. Dude with a toot. I knew him, and we had a connection because his roommate was also my roommate. Go figure that. Chris Benson was a walk-on. They put Carl with Chris, knowing that Chris lived off campus with me. And so Carl could have a single room, but have a roommate, wink, wink, wink. And so Carl would come over. He was one of the most shy kids I've ever met. The dude with the toot, I can't speak to that, but he was fantastic as well. So those two were those two and Dale Carter, some of the most unbelievable athletes I've ever seen him. And throw in, he never played for us, but Todd Collins from
oh my gosh,
Jefferson County. He never played. He went through some spring practice.
Unbelievable.
Todd Collins and then went to Carson Newman from Georgia, and then played in the pro. Todd Collins was the most ferocious dunker of a basketball I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Ryan's out there.
His linebacker in the NFL was one of the most ferocious dunkers. I mean,
it's funny you mentioned him.
I've never seen an athlete like that.
Well, you talk about small world. Maury Hanks recently went like around the world somewhere, cruise somewhere, I don't know, and he ran into Ryan Collins, and they got to talking, and I was texting back and forth with him about what a great guy Ryan is, who ended up at Tennessee. But his and Maury was like, yeah, I hear his brothers were good athletes. I'm like, good athletes? No, Todd wasn't a good athlete. Todd Collins was crazy athletic.
Well, they both were,
but
Brent was a high school All-American. Todd was the USA Today Defensive Player of the Year.
Hello.
And he wasn't good. He was great. Another one I want to add who never played, one of the greatest athletes, and you may not think this, but Randy Hall. offensive lineman from
Yeah.
Coles High School.
Yeah.
I have never, ever in my life seen an offensive lineman come around a corner like he could. And too bad his career was totally cut short with neck and all these other things. But, oh, my God. Unbelievable.
So basically what we're dealing with here, and this gets back to today's commitment, is it's great to take a guy and scheme him up and, you know, and run for a bunch of yards, or, you know, and these guys get the most out of what they have. Like, that is a fantastic thing to watch. It's quite another to put, you mentioned like a Dale Carter, to put him back on a punt return and say, okay, now go make everybody miss. Or to take a running back and go, okay, like back in our day, we're gonna run a toss sweep here with Chuck Webb, and he's going to cut back against the grain. And by the time he gets done cutting back against the grain, he's going to be 45 yards down the field, because that's just what he can do. I mean, that's just kind of what he sees, and his ability to do what he's doing and manipulate the space and all that stuff. And so I say all that to say today is a significant day. And I thought Watson, Sean, really put it really well in terms of what this guy is going to give. Watson doesn't think this guy's coming off the field, Sean, on third down. He thinks this guy's going to be a 3-down player here.
What the thing was surprising to me, or not as surprising, but interesting, because I've talked about this system producing at least 3 backs, the 1,000-yard rushers, from their wide splits and the way they use the whole horizontal field, et cetera, to create running lanes. And if I heard him correctly, he talked about going to more power.
Yes.
And opening things up and letting this guy eat, as the kids say. That's really interesting. I don't know what that does to the passing game, but, you know, I mean, Desan Vereen, he's a heck of an athlete. You talked about Tristan Keys, but I'm a big fan of Radarius Jackson and Travis Smith. I think Braylon Staley is one of the best slot receivers in college football, even though he's not getting all that attention. Mike Matthews, when his head's screwed on right, can catch about anything. So we are loaded. Hopefully Faison can do it.
When you heard Heupel the other day and you talk about Faison, when the head coach stands up there at media day, and Heupel's not going to give me anything away on who's going to play. Every guy's got to go out and earn all the guy. My quarterbacks are going to battle. But when he singles a guy out and says, this guy, Brandon, is the first guy in the room, and he's the last guy to leave, he turns the lights out. That is as close as a head coach is going to come to saying, this guy's my starting quarterback, Sean, without saying it in July. That's because that is what that means in coach speak. When you talk like that about a guy and you don't say it about the other guy, that's a pretty good sign, Sean. He's saying this guy here is this guy might be young, but he's very serious about what we're trying to do here, which is exactly what you're looking for if you're going to trust a young quarterback to be your starting quarterback, a true freshman, by the way.
Yeah, not only that, another question that was asked of him, I don't know if it's in the same setting, but some reporter asked him about the possibility of choosing a quarterback and the consequence being the other quarterback, move on. And he didn't miss a beat. And he just said, that's the era we live in. He said, you just have to expect that. And I was thinking, wow. Many people might have not have thought that related to Faison, because it could have been either one. But no, I immediately picked up on Faison is our guy, and someone else moves on. So be it. That's the way it goes.
And that's the way it has to be. I mean, when you make that decision, you got to know. Like I asked Matt Dixon, I said, "What how many passing attempts for GMAC?" And he was like, "I don't know, under 30." On the year. And I was like, whoa. And that's if your starting quarterback stays healthy, obviously. It's just an interesting thing to consider. Fun stuff. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's get one more timeout in, and then we'll get James Clausen on the other side. I want to talk with him about Spire, the stuff they've done, because they really, really got out in front of this thing early. And there's a story to be told. It's the fifth anniversary. Hard to believe of what they. Well, let's bring James Clausen in now on your High Noon Hotline, which has gotten some work out today with Watson Brown, and now joining us on the High Noon Hotline. Put your hands together, meet and greet, co-founder of Spire, Tennessee's NIL, James Clausen. How we doing, my friend?
Good, Tony. How are you today?
Brother, it's a beautiful day to be alive, as you and I both know. And it looked like the moon had a little tinge of orange to it last night when I looked up in the southeastern Pennsylvania sky. And let me ask you this, man. It has been, since that court case came down, it has been what? Little over 5 years. You guys were ready from the jump. From the jump. Did you guys read that this was going to happen before a lot of people did?
So, Tony, I don't know about that. I think it's important to remember here, you know, Hunter Baddour and I had founded Spire about a year before that Supreme Court ruling on July 1st. We had been in the sports marketing agent world for almost a decade. So this was NIL was going to be a major shift in our world. It was not only going to affect schools and colleges and how they recruit athletes, but it was also going to affect agencies and their ability to go get those players sooner than they've ever been able to. So it was a hot topic in our world. So yeah, we were following it really, really close.
And so when that occurs, right, when the case comes down and you're sitting there on that July day, how did we pivot and get in the space you're in right now? Can you share that story with us?
Yeah, you know, we did a deal right at 12:01 with Cade Mays, actually, and a local T-shirt company. So that was one of the first deals I think that got done. You know, the story, we were uniquely positioned, and you know, Hunter and I are both big Tennessee guys. We both graduated from Tennessee. We're both from here. We thought Tennessee had a real opportunity here to be one of the foremost leaders in NIL, and a few reasons. One, Tennessee is the only real big time school in the state. You know, Alabama and Auburn share a state. Texas has multiple schools. Florida has multiple schools, but from one end of the state to the other, it's all about the Vols. So we thought from a marketing perspective, if brands and companies were going to get on board and get behind this, you know, that would be a major factor. We've got a really passionate fan base, and a huge alumni base, really fanatical, which is exactly what you need. And then, you know, I think the third thing, sorry, I'm thinking, you know.
No, it's fine, man.
No.
Take your time.
Knoxville, the size of Knoxville, you know, it's one of the larger cities in the SEC. And so got a really good corporate footprint. We thought Knoxville would be a huge advantage to Tennessee in this. And so, you know, and look, we were out in front of it, but by no means did we have it all figured out, or were we experts. We had some great support from some of Tennessee's top donors. You know, they really bought in. I got to give a lot of credit to people, you know, certainly their names are on buildings over there, but if they hadn't bought into this, I give them a lot of credit because they've been so successful in a lot of businesses that they've ran, and they've been so entrepreneurial. They taught us very early on that in the middle of, a chaotic industry, there's a lot of opportunity, and you got to stay aggressive. And so we knew that it was going to change. It was going to change a lot. It was going to change fast. So we had to be really flexible and kind of willing and able to go from shift this way to maybe doing something completely opposite the next day. And we were willing to just let it ride and see what we could do based on kind of that philosophy.
Did you approach them, or did they approach you, Hunter? Just out of curiosity, because I've never heard that story.
Yeah, Hunter and I approached them actually.
Wow, that's interesting.
With the idea, yeah.
And that put them in the market. It put Tennessee in the market way before a lot of other people, right? I mean, the early infancy days, because I can remember there was a reporter with On 3 at the time. It wasn't the Nakos guy that's there now, Nakos. But anyway, they were like, Spire. Like, you guys were way out in front of the game, right? Did you realize that early on? Hey, we've gotten the jump on people here.
Maybe to an extent, but everybody's so secretive about what they do in the college space because it's so competitive. We really didn't know. And since then we've developed some relationships with other people that do similar things as us at other schools. And so we've learned more as time has gone on, maybe a little bit how far ahead we were or how we thought about things a lot differently than other people did at the time. But I think it just goes back to, we'd been in that world for a decade plus. And so we understood how sports marketing worked. We understood how deals were structured and things like that. So it was kind of just what we did. It was our 9-to-5 job per se.
What I think is really interesting about, as you talk about the genesis of this thing, is that you were already in that world. They were receptive and ready to go from the word jump. It obviously gave Tennessee an edge, but you talked about this, and I wanted to get into this, the whole flying blind concept of how do I set a market and determine what somebody's worth? Like, I remember hearing about a high-profile wide receiver, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, that this sort of thing used to happen, would say to you guys were like, okay, XYZ school, the market for you is this. And they would say, yeah, but you're UT, you've got more money to pay. And Tennessee would be like, no, that's kind of not how this is going to work. But in the early days, nobody knew what kind of packages other schools were putting together for these players, right? So you're kind of making it up as you go along. I mean, that's kind of how it went on, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I would say you still don't completely know, even to this day, entirely what the market really is. You got a better idea than you did 3 years ago and certainly 5 years ago, but it's not like the NFL or the NBA where you can go to the players union and the agents can see exactly what everybody's making and they know the deals. You still are flying blind in a lot of ways here.
What's interesting to me too in that space, James, and as you say that, even like 5 years later, how do you guys get to the root of the misinformation? Obviously, there's strength in you having a relationship with people even that you're competing with, right? Because you almost all have to watch out for each other, or you're going to get burned by these agencies that are representing these kids, right? I mean, that's ultimately what we're doing here.
I mean, there's definitely some of that. Now how, and we're not involved like we were because of the way that the rev share has now changed. But again, I'll go back. It's the lack of the lack of rules and the lack of the way that the NCAA has structured all this really sets up for schools not to be super open and communicative with each other about this kind of thing. I mean, you would certainly think that, if we all got together and we decided that, hey, we should all be very transparent with each other about these deals and call these agents bluffs on things. It just doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen like that. And I think we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But it's still very much, a very chaotic situation.
James Clausen, co-founder Spire, who's giving us a real interesting look-see into this world that, is very nebulous. I know that you've sort of communicated that a lot of these numbers that we see and people like me talk about, they're fun to talk about. Unfortunately, they're not real. How out of line are some of the numbers, James, that you guys see, and how difficult does that make your job? Because then there's a sense that, or anybody's job for that matter, Danny White, anybody on the other end of this thing, from the university perspective, when those numbers get published and they're kind of out of whack, how hard is it to manage expectations with any of these athletes?
Oh, I mean, it's a kind of an everyday challenge, I think. And it's the reason that you see so many kids, transfer every single year. And then you see how many of those kids never end up, landing at a home. They've based an entire decision, on money, and they've gotten burned, and now they don't even have a place to go to school at. I mean, so it's a terrible situation. And I think, a lot of people, are negatively affected by it. But I mean, think about all the kids that are just essentially as athletes that are just stranded out there, without really a home because of all this lack of information. You may see a deal, you may see somebody say, oh, so-and-so a player got $3 million. But you don't know if that's over 2 years or 3 years or that,
right,
how that's broken up, or if some of that is in bonuses. It's no different than when ESPN reports, an NFL player has re-signed with his team for this number. Well, how much of that is actually guaranteed? And then what part of that money, we usually call them escalators or bonuses or performance,
right,
type bonuses. But how much of that money will probably never be earned by the player because he may not make the Pro Bowl and he may not be all pro and or he may not catch, X number of balls. So, I would just say you got to be really careful. And so that's why I think, you got to communicate a lot, with the agents and with the kids. And that's certainly a challenge for all these schools, Tennessee included.
It feels like you guys and all these schools have kind of learned, though, with these, and the front end of this thing, it was like all these front loaded deals, right? And then, these marketing deals and all this stuff that, however you want to couch this stuff, because they can't call it pay for play, etc. But it seems like in recent days that now it's become more, hey, you stay and you will see the fruits of your labor. You come here for a short amount of time, you're not going to reap what you could have gotten had you have stayed. Is that an accurate way to depict the way? And I'm thinking about the guy that comes here out of the portal and is we see him on a practice field maybe a day or so, but there's like a misconception that this guy walks away with a lot of money. And James, I don't think that's the case based on people. And I've never asked you about it, but I don't think that's the case. Is that so? Have we like reoriented the whole industry the way this is done?
I mean, you're kind of getting at what values or
okay, a guy
more, Tony.
Well, yeah, a guy comes for a short amount of time, right? Like the media reports, this guy comes here for 1.8. He's not getting $1.8 million in his pocket. People think, oh my God, that person took a school for a ride. when in fact that person might have only gotten like 30 grand or something. You know what I mean? Or 50 grand or whatever the number is. Because there's a misconception out there that this money's just kind of flying around and it's on trees and we're pulling it down as quick as we can harvest it. And that doesn't feel like that's the case right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Tony. I think that's an accurate statement.
And then let's go back. So I love the way Tennessee jumped out there in the Nico deal. And at that point, you guys are right in the middle of that. How exciting and fun was that for you to be like in the middle of that whole process when Tennessee basically announces to the world, hey, we're really back sort of in the big time college football business here?
That was you think about that period of time, and we've had a lot of success with Josh since then, but we had been through 4 coaches in probably a decade. The Pruitt, all the Pruitt stuff had just gone down. Tennessee was on probation. It was about as low as it's ever been that I can remember, being a fan. And, how else do you go out and make a big time splash? And it was more than just about Nico. Certainly he's a great player. He was a 5-star quarterback.
Yep.
If you look at who lands those type of quarterbacks traditionally pre-NIL, it was the blue bloods of college football. And certainly, I think all of us as Tennessee fans feel like we're a blue blood program. And, it was a defining moment. I think it was a defining moment to solidify that, hey, Tennessee's going to be a force to reckon with here moving forward. I mean, so, we can argue about, was it a good deal? Was it not a good deal? Certainly, we know Nico transferred and moved on. We did make the playoff, and I think he did change the trajectory of the program just by really giving it a lot of attention, especially with those high school kids. And if you look at the recruiting classes since then, I think it has helped. Nico had a part in that.
How involved like in a spot like that, right? How involved do you guys get in that recruitment, or is that basically left to coaches, or is it it just seems like a very interesting world that you're kind of living in at that point.
Yeah, the situation was much different then than it is now. And so the schools could not talk about NIL. Like that was
right.
That was something they couldn't do then. And we really took it as an approach of, we want to represent kids. We want to be their agent, their marketing agents per se. We want to bring them deals and marketing deals and opportunities. And that's how we had pitched what we did. And we've done, literally thousands of marketing deals with players. Certainly the majority of them are at Tennessee, but we've also done deals with kids at other schools as well. Through brands that we work with, which, we believe gives us which gives us the right to be able to say, hey, we're a true marketing company. We're not a collective. We don't exist just to benefit Tennessee. Certainly, that's our priority. We're not going to, nobody's going to mistake that, but that's where we wanted to kind of position ourselves.
Spire co-founder James Clausen joining on what could be a pivotal day for the Vols. We talk about the NIL to university relationship, and you kind of were mentioning this before, after last July. It's already been like a year now that we're under this current configuration. How did it change, James? Can you kind of walk us through that? Because we hear about you guys, we hear what Tennessee's doing, we hear the stuff with the shoe company and the rights holder and this kind of thing. But what is like the way that current configuration? What does it allow for?
Yeah, so schools are able to now have essentially a salary cap, a rev share of about $20.5 million that they can distribute really any way that they like across all their sports. everybody does it a little bit different, breaks it down by maybe revenue by sport. Obviously, football at most places is going to receive the bulk of that money, and so Tennessee's able to have, along with any other school, is able to have all those conversations with players and with agents, and so that's really their deal now. We're not involved in that at all like we used to be prior to the rev share. Now, really, where Spire Ball Club, come into play is we do marketing deals with players, and it can be high school players, it could be players in college, it could be players at Tennessee and other schools, but we want to do deals that make business sense for us, and that's kind of how it has evolved for us.
What's your opinion on the House settlement thing? I'm surprised it's still there.
Well, it's hard to overturn. Litigation and the legal system moves really slow. So I'm probably not surprised that it hasn't changed significantly. The NCAA is very risk adverse, very slow to change. I think looking to Congress for any kind of intervention is a Hail Mary attempt. And I think about any other industry that has any kind of issues, I feel like the last place that you'd want to go for help is the federal government. But, so I think unfortunately we're in a situation where we're going to continue to be in this world. Now, certainly there could be some things that could be put in place. Restrictions on the transfer portal would significantly reduce the volatility in the market. That would be a real pushback on players. If the cap was able to be adjusted, which there's been rumors of that would be a major thing, which would allow schools to pay more money. They tried to regulate it, and they tried to, make it where everybody can spend the same amount of money. Obviously, with your multimedia partners or your apparel partners, schools are finding ways to spend more. So it's no different than, in the 80s and the 90s when people were building bigger stadiums and people were building indoor facilities and really nice training, centers. That was the competitive advantage. That was the way you out recruited somebody else. And that's still certainly, I think, part of it, but how you compensate players and do it at a really high level is also a part of it too.
You guys have a new concept that I know you gained some traction last year. I like it because it's great for fans, and it's great for a lot of people. It's great for former players. It's great. It's just very cool. You and I were talking about this off the air. Like in my career, I've done things where I thought, this is a really good idea. It doesn't stick. I do things that I don't think are going to work, and they work. But share with me what you guys are doing with this new tailgate set up over at Lindsey Nelson, and if you could kind of unpack that in terms of what the fan can expect this year and how they can get more information on that.
Yeah. So first of all, you can go to our website, volunteerclub.com, and read about our tailgate and our individual memberships. But our tailgate, which was at Humanities Plaza, is moving to Lindsey Nelson Stadium. So it's going to be in some of the concourse areas down the third baseline. Better restrooms, better food, full bar. A great feature is we're going to have current players there. We're going to have former players there. So, it's a great way to, kick off game day. So if you came last year, you can expect several elevated offerings. Food's going to be tailored to each game. So, when we play Louisiana, we're going to have more Cajun type food. So, we're really excited about that. The tailgate was not something that we ever really set out to do and make it part of what we did. And the market and the fans just responded to it. And so it's been awesome to watch. The away game tailgates are really, really awesome too. We sell individual tickets for those, and they'll go on sale prior to a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before each game. And we also have our individual memberships now where you can get an autographed item every single month, and you can pick, do you want just current players? Do you want current and former players, or you just want former players? So, we have had so much interest and, really getting these former players, more involved. We've done stuff with Deion Grant now. Al Wilson's been a huge supporter of us and what we're doing. We saw Al last night, actually. We got Casey Clausen to sign, and we even go back to like players like Bobby Majors. We're talking to, a guy like Richmond Flowers. So, we really want to hit, a wide demographic of players. Because, if I grew up in the 90s, I got my favorite guys, but, my dad's got his favorite guys that are different than mine. And so, and my kids, they may love the current players. So, and all that does is, that helps us, keep, plugging along and keep making sure that, we play our part in helping provide as many marketing deals for Tennessee players as possible.
And when you started that, you had no idea it would proliferate like this, right? Kind of like what we do with the post game. Like when I started that, I was like, like today we're going to do a special cast, with what's hopefully coming in Chattanooga. And when you start things like that, you just have no idea what they're going to do. You weren't expecting this thing to take off like this, huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's, trial by error. There's no blueprint for us. We're willing to try a lot of things. We got a great group of people on our team. They all are Tennessee people. They went to school at Tennessee. They love the Vols. We feel like we got a really good pulse on our fan base in a lot of ways. And so, we're lucky. We're fortunate. We're really, blessed and super passionate about what we do.
Hey, on the way out, anything else you'd care to add? Anything we haven't touched on? Questions you get asked about what you do, misconceptions, et cetera, or you feel like we've covered it?
Tony, I think we covered most of that. Yeah. You touched on the money misconceptions. That's a big one. I think we covered it, but happy to obviously talk anytime you like.
Well, people like me, James, I'm not gonna spread that stuff around. You know that.
Absolutely.
Hey, James, if folks want more information, how do they do it? And I appreciate your time today, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Our website, www.thevolunteerclub.com. If you have any other questions, I think we have a contact link on there, and you can email us, and we'll hit you right back.
Hey, man, fun day for the fans. This is good stuff, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a good day to be a Tennessee Volunteer.
See you, my brother. The great James Clausen, one more time. I appreciate him jumping on with us. It's interesting to get a look-see into their deal. And interesting conversation. Let's go to the phones. And we're going to do a little overtime here, not much. Sean's with me in the extra session we're going to do tonight, along with X, our recruiting expert. We're going to take calls from all over the country. So set your watch accordingly, or sign up to get our what do they send? If you're on the YouTube thing, we're over 5,000 subscribers now, and we weren't even trying. But let's just go to the phones, and we'll fire up our callers, and we'll see who's there. And we haven't even tried really on YouTube. We're over 5,000 subscribers. Trying is cutting things up and all this. So we're going to be doing a bunch of that going forward. But Laura's telling me, okay, we got to get a timeout in here. That's right. We'll get a timeout in, then we'll get some calls in, then we'll get out of here. Then we'll get William Pattison in here. More after this.
You got to
dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times, 80 proof of vodka, delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka, T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka, distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair. And they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms. And I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. T to the B back with you, hanging and banging on an incredible kind of Hulkster, kind of, boy, we're going to be on live with you. In the meantime, the coverage continues. Fan Run Radio, the great William Pattison has you now. Hit it, William.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio. You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
It's high noon somewhere, sun's up, and it's time for another High Noon Overtime. The place where we kick back, pop a top, and really get to the bottom of it. Presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Made with real vodka and real fruit juice. Only 100 calories with no sugar added and it's gluten-free. Live like the sun is always out. And now it's time for High Noon Overtime.
TB and you, as I welcome you to another High Noon Overtime, and it's high noon somewhere. Folks in the Central Time Zone are experiencing high noon right now. High Noon Hard Seltzer. Wow, 14 flavors. What can you say about High Noon Hard Seltzer? What can you say about our recent piece here on the Show of Record? What can you say about the fact that there's 269 minutes left till Nico? 4 hours, 28 minutes, 58 seconds. Cinco, can you feel it? The DGG day, can you feel it right now in your blood, Cinco?
Yeah, I'm hoping that was a misspeak when you said that time
Nico.
till our Nico.
I know.
But that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yes, we'll get a few
I
more
can feel
calls
it.
in.
I'm excited. I mean,
this is fun.
A couple things context tells you in football recruiting.
Yep.
Stars are one thing. That's fine. But committable offer list is another telling kind of thing that gives context of how good of a player is.
Yep.
Another thing that gives context is to how bitter the sour grapes are for the other team that doesn't get them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially someone like Ohio State or Alabama in the day or Georgia, where they could seemingly just turn the page and go to the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
But this one really seems to bother Ohio State. So that tells me that he wasn't just the guy on the board or at the top of the board. He was the guy. And so that gives me even more confidence that this kid's a player.
He was penned in, Sean. He was not penciled in. They wrote him in Sharpie. And Tennessee went in there and said, you better go ahead and cross him out because we're going to take him from you. The High Noon Hard line of seltzers, always a winner, just like Tennessee on this glory day. High Noon vodka seltzer, 14 flavors. Look, real fruit juice, real vodka, 100 calories. That's it. No sugar added, gluten-free. Black cherry and pineapple are knock it out, but there are 14 flavors. And here's the thing. There's 14 reasons for hope. Once 5:30 today rolls around and this kid makes it official. Also, you can check out High Noon Vodka Iced Tea. 6 refreshing flavors. Man, with the summer we've had and the heat wave and the humidity outside today and everything else, peach lemon is 2 great flavors. Also the green tea and half. And then they've got another item to check out from the High Noon line here is High Noon Tequila Seltzer. 6 refreshing flavors, including blood orange. Blood orange. Say it loudly. Say it proudly. Now, I want to shout out Laura today, who's going to be burning the midnight oil on the post-game show. We are going to have a post-game show today. Live, as sure as you're sitting here, partner. And people asking, is Tony going to do a special? Of course, Tony's going to do a special. A Garza Law special report. The Canadian wildfire touches down. 265 minutes away. Roughly 15,918 seconds as you hear this. Bang! Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. It's been a show unlike any other. It's been a caller roster unlike any other. I said till Nico, I was thinking about Nico, Sean, because, the Nico thing through time doesn't look like all that wonderful. It was a great thing when it happened. It was a sign that Tennessee football was back. And this today is going to be another one, Sean. There are very few of these. But the Nico deal was a sign that we're back in business. And today's is a sign that, hey, don't forget about us. Don't you forget about me. And my simple minds, or our simple minds, know, Cinco, don't you forget about me. Good little jam from the Breakfast Club, Cinco.
Great jam. And, you know, I think this is more, to me, is more about the intent of Tennessee than it is the DGG as a player.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because I talked about since 1985, and I'm not old man, get off my yard, or, hey, listen to me because I know more than you do. But with time, you see things, and you see, you know, you see guys that come in like Jamal Lewis, and you see guys like Chuck Webb and other things. But you also see guys like Brian Darden, who was as highly recruited as anyone we're talking about. You see guys like Bryce Brown, who was highly or more highly recruited than anyone else. And it didn't kind of work out for those guys. And you see guys like I referenced Tony Thompson and Deshaun Bishop. So you just don't know at the end of the day how this kid's going to play out. If he's going to be fantastic or if he's not. We all thought Nico would be fantastic. He's not. I'm not trying to put a wet blanket. What I'm trying to say is my preference is to look and be happy with the intent of Josh Heupel, the intent of the administration, the intent of not the intent, but the support of Spire, because you can want to do these things, but if you don't have James Clausen and his people there doing the legwork to get boosters, to buy in, to pay, etc., then it's going nowhere. So that's where I celebrate this, and I also celebrate it for the fans because it's a little win. Last couple times we've gone up against these clowns, we've been drubbed up there in a playoff game and had a wide receiver recruit just go persona non grata and leave after taking money here. So those are the two factors, or those are the two entities that I'm really happy about.
To the phones we go on a day that's got to have you hype. Let's get our first call in. William, hello.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, William?
I'm excited for today.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited for today. We might get one of the best running backs in all of the country. David Gabriel Georges, which he's heavily predicted to commit to Tennessee, by the way.
Hey, William.
I feel like the odds. Yeah, go
ahead.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor before you get into the odds? Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Are you near your outside? Can you walk outside real quick? I need you to do something for me in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia.
I'm in my room right now.
Can you open your window? Let me know when you get it up. Let me know when you get it open. Because what I need you to do, William.
Yeah.
I need you to open your window.
All right.
And see if you can smell the smoke. Are you getting the embers of the Canadian wildfire that's lit in Chattanooga right now? Can you feel this, William? Can you feel this?
I can feel it. I have that feeling he's going to come to Tennessee.
Cinco, can you sense the excitement in the voice of young William? And Cinco, is it doing something to you like it is me right now? Because William's got me pumped up.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Williams calls. I always like them. Little subtle passion.
That's right.
Restrained exuberance.
That's right.
Youthful optimism that hasn't been kicked in the jimmies like you and I have. So I like his calls.
William, how fired up are you right now? You think we should stay on the whole time, William? 4 hours and 19 minutes of hype? Or you think, William, I should go get me some lunch and go sit in the center square and play a little music for a few hours?
I think it's best we be on here for like a couple minutes because you got to get lunch, you know? But I'm...
William? Yep.
Go ahead.
You go ahead, man.
I'm heavily excited for today, especially since today we might get one of the best running backs in the whole country coming from my hometown. Not my home city, my hometown.
Caw! Are you a Chattanoogan, William?
Well, I'm from East Ridge, but I think I'm a Chattanoogan.
Boom! Boom! I had no idea.
Judging that I'm near and was born near Chattanooga, I would think so.
William, I find you the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. I hope you have a Dioc Goodone. And thank you, my man.
Yeah, go Orange. I hope we get him.
Thank you, brother. DR 18335 with breaking news, Cinco. All capital letters, DGG is a Buckeye. Go Bucks, he says. And then DR 13835 says 42-17. Hey, DR 2-0. 2-0, big boy. David Sanders and now him, 2-0. You go up against the Vols. You better cross your I's, but you ain't gonna dot your T's, or whatever I'm trying to say. Or do you dot your I's, Cinco, and cross your T's? Which one?
Buddy, if you saw my cursive, there's dots and crosses and wayward. It looks like calligraphy without being calligraphy.
The other day, I filled out a birthday card for somebody, Cinco. This is no joke. I wrote in cursive on one side, and then I wrote what I wrote in cursive. What's the other thing called when you just kind of write it the other way? What's the opposite of cursive?
Print.
Yeah.
I call it print.
I couldn't read either one.
Yeah, you know what? I've gotten into this habit of I'll start something like that in cap letters and then go into lowercase letters.
Yep.
And it just looks stupid.
Yep.
And then it's on a card. So what are you going to do? You don't have 3 cards there. You just look like an idiot. So I don't know what's going on in my melon.
DR13835 says, Tony, your Vols will never be in my Buckeyes realm. Let me explain something to you, son. The best thing about our interstate system in Knoxville is that it takes people like you right back to where they're from.
Let me tell him about something here. Is my parents used to live in Central Ohio around in Warner Robins around the Dayton area, home of the great Kelly Days back in the 80s. But either way, when I'd go up and visit them, I'd go up through the northern part of Tennessee, across the Kentucky border. A pleasant drive up to Lexington. Lexington to Cincinnati was okay. That was the second best leg of it. Then you get to Cincinnati. Cross over the river, and you get to Cincinnati. And much like the drive from Nashville to Dixon, that's the most god-awful, boring, grayscale, loser drive you can possibly make. So I can understand why people get up with all that chatter about the Buckeyes. I can see why alcoholism and drug abuse runs rampant up there. That state is ridiculous.
Be just like a Buckeye fan. It's a hard cope for them, what's happening right now.
His parents probably live down here in Tellico Village.
You had this guy for 5 years, man. 5 years! And the Vols went right in there and flexed. They used the flex appeal. And Heupel used the sex appeal. And you guys, you don't have a backup plan. Let's go back to our phones. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
W. Lynn, welcome in.
Tony, you have the greatest show in the world. Your Lars doing great. Brian always does great. I mean, I'm spreading the word. I'm getting more and more people to listen. If we'd have had a soccer game in Knoxville, you'd have got some of those fans on. I don't care what teams they send here. You'd have had them on the radio, and that would have been great. But your 5:30 show, I can't wait. But going down memory lane with some great running backs. Of course, my first favorite of all time, I still have the remnants of a tearaway jersey my brother got from him, Kurt Watson, back in the day. And then there's one we didn't even think about. I played 4-on-4 basketball with him, and he was one of the nicest guys. Didn't hog the ball, passed it. And he ought to be in the Hall of Fame as an NFL wide receiver, but he had to play running back because we needed him to do that. Stanley Morgan played running back and led the team in rushing for 2 years, and he was truly a wide receiver. Then a couple more, Haskell Standback, Charles Wilson, and then another one that he wasn't on the starting lineup. If I remember when he ran a 60-yard touchdown run in the Sugar Bowl in '86, Keith Jackson didn't even have him on the depth chart, and that was Jeff Powell. Sean probably remembers him.
Bang. William and Mary.
And I'll never, I was at the Sugar Bowl, but I'll never forget watching the tape and Keith Jackson going, "Who is this guy?" And then, he says he's a track star. He blew by Benny Blades. I loved it. But anyhow, but those are.
Who was that? He was the former Arkansas coach, and he said, Jeff Powell, track man from William and Mary. One of your, who was it? One of your, golly,
Frank Broyles. It was Frank Broyles.
But it was one of W. Lynn's fraternity brothers used to imitate that. He'd say, Jeff Powell, track man from William and Mary. And it was great. I just loved it. I can't remember Daryl. I can't remember who it was.
Might have been Jinxie, Craig Jenkins. He could do some imitations.
Yeah, and I think he was a bit before my time there at UT, but I don't think it was Flame or any of those guys, but it was one of them.
You talking about Janksy? Hey, listen, Janksy gets stopped by a cop these days, Sean. He pulls out a rock for his ID.
But I want to thank Bino for something he said the other day. I've always called this kind of the golden age of Tennessee football in my lifetime. And Bino mentioned from 1985 to 1999, the 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
We won 6 SEC titles. We had 8 years. I'm counting the ties, half a win, half a loss. 8 years with 10 or more wins. 6 Power 4 bowl games. There wasn't a Power 6 back then. That's 15 years, man, that, I don't know that we'll ever do that again. But, in 85, all you could do was win your conference and go to the Sugar Bowl. That's all you could do. You couldn't worry about the national title game. You hoped you might be in it. But all we could do was wish to go to the Sugar Bowl. 89, we got lucky and got an at-large bid to the Cotton Bowl. And but those 15 years, I'm kind of glad Bino said that, because the state-run radio, starting about 2005, all they wanted to talk about was the 90s. And I thought, wait a minute. You got to go back to 85 at least and start with our golden age. And personally, I'd go back to 83, because when we went 9-3 and won that Citrus Bowl, I thought, we're making progress. This is like we're starting to show we can come back. But I really want to thank Bino for pointing out, this all started really big time in 85. Would you guys agree with that?
What do you got to say here on the High Noon Overtime, Cinco? What do you say?
I can't speak to anything before 85 as a Tennessee fan. That's my freshman year at UT. And that's, I told you, my first game was the Bo Jackson game. Woke up Hess Hall and saw all the people milling around up and down the road right outside my dorm room. And I was captivated by the color of the orange. And at that time, it was the fall and just the excitement. So I walked down to Neyland and had a student ticket and thought, what's this all about? I was a Nebraska fan at the time. I'd been a Nebraska fan for a long time, and I was converted in that cathedral of Neyland Stadium. So, but I can't talk to before then.
Well, there was good times before then, but I mean, those 15 years, and, it's funny. I got hired by Bud Ford and Haywood Harris in 85. I was 29 years old. And my first game with UCLA, I was on top of the old press box. I got 1 year in that old press. I was on the roof with a lot of other people. I wasn't in the press box. I was on top of it taking notes with my binoculars. So that's special to me too, because that's kind of when I started working with Bud and Haywood, which was just a dream come true to do something like that. But yeah, Tony, this is big. Maybe when he picks us, he'll hold up a Neyland West Point gray jersey, Tony.
There you go. Maybe he'll hold up a West Point gray Neyland jersey. W. Lynn, I love you. You're the man. I want to thank Cinco. Cinco, I'll talk to you in roughly 4 hours of power, Cinco. Are you going to be there answering the bell in 4 hours of power? Yes or no?
Unless something crazy happens, I plan to be right there with you. Where could you, if you haven't already, and forgive me if you have, can you tell us where to watch the commitment? Is it? I assume it's going to be on live.
Yeah, it's going to be on CBS Sports Network, and then we're going to react to it in real time. So we're going to react to what we see. We're going to take the air at 5:30, and if we have to fill a little time, we'll fill a little time, and then we'll hopefully cut to the announcement, and then hopefully get back Jack, and then we'll jump on and react to it.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks for having me in volume 1 of today's show.
You got it, brother. And I absolutely want to thank Laura and Walton for working on the board today. Laura just ceded to Walton. She texted me the following, and this is
Our Marriage in a Nutshell show. Your eating is so loud with 2 exclamation points. Your eating is so loud with 2 exclamation points. Smiley face, triggering me. It's triggering me. Walton is on the board now. I can't take the watermelon. Now, we all have different ways of saying I love you, and that's hers. You know, we all have our love languages. I think to the living listener, and by the way, CBS Sports is on YouTube, and then jump right over with us. I just got to tell you, look, the man got hungry. And, you know, it's the High Noon Hotline. And I want to shout him out. The High Noon line of hard seltzers. And the man got hungry today. You know? AVL Full said, I'm with Laura. Amen, Laura. God, was it really loud? I didn't realize that. I mean, I just now saw the text from her. I'm really pumped. And I'm with Sean. I don't know what kind of player this guy is going to be. Nobody knows. But what this means is bigger than that. It's not bigger than that. But what this means is enough for now. And I'm inclined to say this to you as somebody that you've allowed in to be a part of this. We're going to enjoy days like this. We are going to enjoy days like this. You know why? Because days like these, I feel like I could change the world. Days like these, I feel like I could change your world. So, BH said, Tony, let me tell you how loud your crunching was. The guy next to me in the gym, I had headphones on, came and asked me to turn my headphones down. Daniel Bell said, it sounded like you were scraping ice off the roads when you were digging for your watermelon. I had no idea. I had no idea. Big Dog in West Tennessee said, Tony, if it means anything to you, it sounded like Sterl the Pearl cutting records. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, thank you to Cinco. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Walton. Thank you, Brian Hartman. Thank you, Matt Dixon. Thank you, Watson Brown. Thank you, James Clausen. And we'll talk to you in exactly 4 hours. Peace, GBO. Love you. Talk to you in 4 hours.
If it bothers that Lane Kiffin gets so much attention, then he could put himself out there too. If you don't, if you're complaining about that, then I don't know that he is, but if that bothers him, he could get attention too. So Lane